All right, episode 4, season 2,
baby.
and this is a special one.
Very special.
Let me get
one.
the jacket on to really get the.
Yeah, of course.
Because this is a good one.
We go corporate for this one, guys.
All right, good start.
Really getting the jacket thing going. All right.
So you want to explain what we're doing today?
Oh, of course. So, our close friend, fellow musician, Ben Taylor, is releasing a new album this week. So when this podcast comes out, please check out the link in our bio. And stay tuned because there will be an exclusive song being played during the break of this episode. But we got BT here on the line. We're going to ask him some questions. We're going to have him talk about the album. But more importantly, we're going to have him talk about the said party that Zach talked about in the beginning of the last episode. We're excited. You're excited. Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. BT, you there?
Yo.
So let's start off with how have you recovered since you, me, and a lot of other people have been blacklisted from the world.
Oh, it's been the absolute worst, man. I can't even deny it, dude. It's been rough, man. It's definitely been tough, you know. I can't deny the fact that it's been really like hard emotionally on me because like, dude, there are people that like, I don't know if it's still this way for you, Zach, but like I know that there are like people who like friends that I've had for years that just don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you actually like explain in the episode like what happened, or you just kind of alluded to it?
If for anyone that hasn't watched the last episode, I think it's important for us to explain, I guess, the context of this situation. I don't know. I'd love to hear from BT's angle as well. Why don't you start it off, Ben?
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah. So essentially, what happened is this was on, I think, January 30th, or maybe the day before. I had my second single coming out, which was a song called "Worth Fighting For," which you can stream now. Zach played on it. And so what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to have like a small gathering for the band because I really just wanted to thank them for what they did. So I invited the band, which was basically 7 people. 2 people couldn't make it. And so I invited 2 other people who had already had COVID, so I knew that there wouldn't be any risk of spreading that. So essentially, it was just a means of thanking the band, and it was just a means we were going to try and keep it small under the CDC's like 10-person guidelines. And as the night went on, more people started showing up, people who were not initially invited, and then the numbers sort of started getting a little bit out of control. And obviously, like, I want to just go and say, like, a lot of people have been really critical of this over the past couple weeks, and I just want to say, like, it was 100% a mistake. It was 100% my responsibility. It should not have happened. It was irresponsible. Even though the intentions were for it to not get out of hand, I think that, to be honest, alcohol had a little bit of a factor, at least for me, where when it got to a point where it was getting unsafe, I wasn't really able to recognize that. And so it was just, an overall like bad situation, obviously. But yeah, so that's essentially what ended up happening. And then the reason why people found out about it is because I stupidly put some stuff on social media, which obviously was a big mistake in retrospect. But again, like I was saying, I was unable to see that in that current time that anything was wrong. So I was just posting stuff to promote the song and see like, look, all these people enjoying the music and all that stuff, just to get other people to check it out. I mean, I honestly didn't even have a thought that what I was doing was dangerous at that point. Obviously, looking back, I realized that it was, and again, very regretful for it. But the silver lining in all of this is that no one that was there tested positive. I don't think that anybody that was there, even in like the 4 weeks since then, has tested positive. So, but I don't know. I think that that's sort of like where I stand. It was a mistake. It was never intended to be this crazy party that I think a lot of people, sort of make it out to be. So yeah, I mean, that's my perspective on it. Obviously a lot of people don't share that perspective, but that's what happened. That's the truth. And so, yeah.
Let me ask you this: does it add mystique to the album? Does it make it a little better, or is it, or not?
I don't know, man. I really don't. I think that I think it's kind of cool, and maybe like someday, like way down the line, I'll be able to look back at this and be like, yeah, it was really, really cool that. Well, not cool that happened. I got to be careful what I say here, man.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying, though. That
it'll be like an interesting sort of like chapter in what I'm kind of doing now, releasing original music and taking this new step in my career. So I think that overall, like a lot of the people who were really upset were people we go to school with and people we see every day and are great musicians that I wanted to gain their respect with this music. And I think that at least for me, it feels like that event is sort of taking away from the music itself, which I worked so hard to even just get it to this point where I get to actually put out this album next week. It seems crazy. It's literally been almost 2 full years of just grinding with this one goal in mind. And, I'm excited that it's going to be, if people are going to get to hear it soon. But at the same time, man, I hope that people can hear it for the music rather than just sort of everything that's kind of come along with it, for better or for worse.
In a way, it's kind of like a little time capsule of an album release, because it fits with the time pretty well that this all kind of happened now, and hopefully a year from now, hopefully if everything is back to normal as it seems, like you said, you could look back and almost be like, that was the most 2020 2021 album release that possibly could have happened.
But now that you say that, the question on all of our minds is, so this was the party for the second song release. What is planned for the actual album release party? Because if you want to take any advice, I would say go Hasidic with it and do a 5,000 person funeral,
bigger,
less
indoors,
masks, no windows.
Well, I didn't want to announce this now, but we're actually renting out the Watsco Center, and we're going to be filling it. It's a free show. Just show up on March 12th to the Watsco Center. It's going to be amazing. And the great thing about it is, like, don't even bother with the masks, because once we're inside, it's a safe space, so just feel free. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but, you just need a negative test from the last month.
In actuality, I've got a concert on the day it's released, so I'm not really going to be able to do much.
Interesting. Does that make you happy, sad? Are you going
to
be
I have a concert on the day it's released?
Refreshing the streams at the gig?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be... I'm not looking forward to the gig, and you and me, Colin, we have this gig together, so I don't really know if many people in the band are looking forward to it, but...
It'll be like $38 or something like that. So hopefully the release party of your album, you could use that money for
with that $38, everyone in the band will actually be able to buy a physical copy of it. So
yeah, look at that, man. Beautiful.
Are you doing CDs?
I thought about it, and maybe I still will, because I know that there's some people, especially like my parents' friends, who want to get physical copies. But I was actually telling Colin about this. What I'm doing, instead of physical copies, I ordered these postcards, and essentially it's basically just like a CD, like cover would normally be. You've got the album cover, and then you've got like the liner notes on the back and stuff like that. But instead of having an actual CD, there's like a QR code so that you can just scan it, and then you can actually go download or stream or do whatever. You can watch the videos. It basically just is a link that takes you to my website. And I ordered I think maybe 500 of these. So I'm just going to kind of be able to, give them out to people, almost kind of like a business card, and just be like, hey, if you want to, you can check out the album, and people can kind of just take it from there. So
my goal in it is to take 100 of them and put them in the most unexpected and inappropriate places, like
BTs.
Well, I mean, BTs, that's almost too appropriate. I was going more like funerals.
Nice.
I'm gonna sneak into bar and bat mitzvahs, just start passing them out to like 13-year-old girls.
Well, that's where you pick up chicks, right?
Where else am I gonna pick them up, man? But dude, we're so hyped for this album release, man. The world is ready to hear the sweet sounds of Ben Thomas
You know what I
Taylor.
was thinking? What if you did this? What if you did a little album release concert and we all wore like hazmat suits? We kind of turned it into a joke, went the other way with it. I'll put my trumpet in maybe a garbage bag and just kind of play through a slit, and you could kind of show up triple mask, throw a neck gaiter on top of it all, and
the gator.
maybe some surgical glasses.
Dude, that's a
The
great
shields,
idea.
too.
Man.
You need the face shields.
And you know what we could do? We could do it outside, but still take 30-minute breaks between tunes, where
Yeah.
we just
Oh,
walk
man,
even
dude.
further away from
Put the
each other.
HVAC on.
Yeah.
It's just like huge, like the
Yeah.
loudest. Yep,
Just
exactly.
really a gas-powered HVAC.
Well, no, what would be next level is to do all that, but instead of having like the band like in the center of like an audience, what we do is we put the audience in the center and we pack them in really tight, and then the band is
Nice.
like 30
Yeah.
feet apart
Oh, I
from
like
each other,
that.
just playing inwards.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
True. I mean,
Keeping
that's
it safe, man.
Genius.
What's your biggest hope to come out of this album? Is it fame, money, chicks, dudes?
Well, I mean, I'd say that all the above, quite frankly.
above.
But
I like that. Yeah, that's a
I
good
mean,
answer.
honestly, like with something like this, yeah, I mean, I have like aspirations to maybe be doing this long term, to continue to write music, to be able to maybe be a solo artist. But right now, I kind of just have to take it one step at a time. Step one is get this album out, get it promoted, and then step two is just maybe try and look for some opportunities to play, in Miami. It's a little late to find anything too serious, but there are a couple things in the works as far as like live performances and stuff like that that hopefully we'll be able to do before the end of the semester. Hopefully we'll be able to do it safely, and we'll be able to have enough people there that there's an energy, there's a crowd that we can vibe off of as a band, as well as just so that we can kind of share the music. I think that at the end of the day, I made this album, or my original aspiration, like before the pandemic, was I wanted to make an album so I could use it as material so I could play live, and obviously live performances have kind of changed a lot recently. So I'm hoping that as things kind of return to normal over the next couple months towards the end of the year, I can just kind of start preparing as a band, or as a band leader, or as a musician, to just kind of go back to that live model and just kind of hit the ground running when it happens. Because once things really open up, opportunities are going to be there, and so I just kind of want to be prepared for them.
Not to take too big of a step back to the controversy, but would you? This answer is very important to me, personally. Would you do it again? If you were to go back to a month ago, would you do it all over again?
Would I?
Well, there's two answers to this. There's the fake answer, which is no.
I think
and
we
the
already
true
got-
answer, which is yes.
We already got the BT, the PR Ben Taylor, I think, at the beginning of the episode. Like, let's get to
No
the
one's
real
listening at
heart.
this point. Let's blow it wide open. Nothing bad happened from it. So actually, yeah, of course we would do it again. I mean, if we knew that, yeah,
I think
why
that
not?
I would have handled things differently. Like, I would have been a little bit more strict on exactly how many people would have come. Because like I said, it was supposed to be like all good intentions from the very beginning. We were supposed to be under the limit. It was supposed to be just the band.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 12, and then 13 showed up. And that's
Yeah,
just
well,
not what we had intended.
That's not true. Don't get it twisted.
It was actually
No.
supposed to be 38, but enough people backed out that it fell below the line.
Yeah, no, like first off, like if I was gonna have a party, there's no way that I wouldn't have invited Colin.
Aw.
Like Colin is the life of the party.
That's
okay?
the whole reason why we're having this episode. I'm just salty I
Oh,
didn't
you
get the
didn't,
invite.
so-
You know?
No.
I truly believe, though, that I think this is going to help out the album. It makes it fun. It makes it a real life or death album.
That's
You
right.
You don't see a lot of those. And I think it's good, man. It adds a little mystique to the Bohemian.
It's true. The Bohemian
Yeah,
is
man.
the name of the album, by the way, which we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Just one more thing. It's the most interesting thing to me is it kind of turns the whole pandemic plandemic album on its head, because most people were making these like quarantine albums where every song on the album, it's like a concept album. Every song, every track is like
is a pun about
lonely,
quarantine. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, isolation. I mean, it's the most fucked up shit.
Yeah.
BT releases an album and then has a single release party that's like breaking rules. I mean, you are the hero, I think, of this.
You know, they're letting the environment
pandemic.
be a product of. They're letting them be a product of the environment. Ben Taylor is making the environment a product of him.
That's right.
It took me a second to get there.
But
But I think you know what I mean.
It's beautiful.
Well, I mean, I think that you know, there's no other way to say it, but like, you know, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it.
There you go.
There you go.
No, I'm kidding with that, but like,
come
you know,
on.
I think that,
I love that, man.
no,
That's
I mean,
beautiful.
like, I think that I wanted to do something for the band, man. I think that this whole coronavirus and quarantine thing sucks,
fake.
man. And the fact that we have to kind of, you know, suffer through this while we're in college, while we're supposed to be, this is a time in our lives where we're supposed to be having a lot of fun, really getting to know our friends, and especially like junior year, you know. Next year, obviously, is going to be, you know, our senior year, and
If
it's
we
going to
make
be
it
exciting, you know,
to next year.
for that. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's definitely sucks, and like I said, I wanted to do something that was like safe and fun for the band because they helped me out. You know, Zach, you played on this stuff, man, and obviously, like everyone that played on it, you know, devoted time and devoted weekends to help me record it and to learn it. And so I just wanted to be like, thanks for doing this, and you know, something that was supposed to be good ended up just being something that was not good at the end, but. Yeah, man. I think that hopefully soon this is going to be, you know, the past. You know, I think that I'm on the side of things where I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to say like this thing is going to go back to normal soon. Like my mom just called me and she said that she's 50 and she's going to be able to get her vaccine. I think
that's great, man.
In a couple weeks, which is great. So it's just like step by step, we're just kind of moving back in the right direction with this
I think
stuff.
so too, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're all moving to Texas, by the way. Zach and I already got the house picked.
Because they just got rid of the mask mandate. I love it.
Yeah, the thing's crazy, man. I mean, we'll see. It's a nice experiment, you know, to see what will really happen.
We don't have a mask mandate here, do we?
No, the county does, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, but Texas is going full. They're taking everything out, it seems like, right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
They're like back to full concert attendance and everything. I mean, like, we'll see. I don't want to be. I know the answer I'm supposed to say is like fuck Texas, but on the other hand, it's like we are doing all this stuff, and I'm from New York, where we still have the highest death count, and we had the most restrictions. So it's sort of like, what do we know still? We don't know anything. So let's see what happens to Texas, and if people die, it's Texas. But if people survive, I mean, this could be really good for us.
Typical New Yorker right here.
Sorry, man. We had to go there. Now, let's go back to the album name. So that was the big release drop this past week. We get the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
We get the beautiful picture of Ben Taylor in canvas art print. And we also get the name The Bohemian. I mean, break it down for us, man.
Yeah. So I felt like the name kind of came to me really early on in the process. And it was one of those names where I was like, is it weird? Do I want to name it that? Is it like, could I think of something better? And like when it was time to kind of design the album cover and put it all together, I was like, nope, I really can't think of a better name than this. But the reason behind it was the process of making this album, I felt like was really emotional for me. And it sort of allowed me, when I was composing and working towards all this stuff, it really allowed me to sort of tap in to a side of me that a lot of people maybe don't see in me, like initially, you know? I think a lot of people probably perceive me as pretty dry and pretty like bland. And obviously a bohemian is someone that is just very, very eccentric and sort of out there and very, like, I just think colorful when I'm thinking about it. But like, I felt like working on this music and sort of the inspiration for it sort of allowed me to sort of tap into this this mindset of being a little bit more artistic, being a little bit more emotional. And so I think that it's kind of a concept in that that's sort of what I was going for when I was talking to my friend who painted the album cover, my friend Caroline. Basically, I wanted something that was going to be colorful to sort of represent the other side of me, sort of maybe what's beneath the skin, as far as like all of these different artistic ideas and feelings and stuff that really went into this album. So that's kind of why I wanted to name it that. It's a obviously an interesting kind of name, something that I don't think a lot of people would associate with me. I mean, I wear like a black t-shirt like pretty much every other day, but like I felt like it was really neat to sort of tap into that side of me that I haven't really been able to as far as like a musical perspective before. So yeah.
Yeah, man. The real question on all of our minds, though, is will there be a Positive Change design, the Bohemian T-shirt to go
there
along
will.
with it?
I had to take a break from that because, dude, there's been so much going on. Like, I think that if anybody's interested in buying T-shirts, you can just go straight to my website, and that's cool. But yeah, man, I had to take a break from that. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back into the fashion game soon.
It was different. It excited me. It was something new from the Bohemian himself. Ben Taylor,
I was thinking
baby.
about wearing one of the shirts today, but I was like, nah, I can't do that. I can't like rep my own merch on the podcast, man.
Well, next time you're on the podcast after this controversy from the full album release party, you should just wear the Bohemian, maybe the definition under it. And
my friend back home, he says that he said for years he wants a T-shirt with my face on it, and the album cover was perfect for that.
Yeah, that is very perfect.
There's already a T-shirt in the mail for him, just my
go.
face, white T-shirt with the album cover. So
nice, man.
Yeah.
You looking to do any vinyl release for the Bohemian? You going small business indie on it?
Dude, I wish I could, man. Dude, vinyl is so expensive. I don't know if you've like looked into it. Dude, it is crazy. Like, first off, if you want to get vinyl, you have to like order like a minimum of like, I think it's maybe like $250 or something like that. And it costs like $3,000. So what I was thinking, I don't know if I'll end up doing this, but if I meet someone who's got like a vinyl press, what would be kind of cool is do like 10 like vinyls of the album. Just make it super rare. So like
people could be posting it for $1,000 on Discogs, man. That's genius.
Yeah, man. Limited edition, baby.
We do with all our guests. You think we should get into this now? We do a game we call Yes or No, and simple game. We're gonna throw out some things at you, and you're just gonna answer yes or no. Positive yes, negative no. All right, we're gonna start here. Pearl Jam.
Yes.
Soccer.
Yes.
Jokes about the movie Whiplash.
No.
KFC.
No.
Birthday parties for 1-year-olds.
Sure.
That's a yes?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I had a 1-year-old, I'd want to have a birthday party for him.
That's the next release. Ben Taylor's 1-year-old.
Penny boarding.
Any boarding. Yes.
Okay. Christopher Walken impressions.
Oh, yes.
Really? Okay. The Westboro Baptist Church.
No.
That was a smart choice.
You're trying to get me here, man. Dude, they've already tried to cancel me once. You guys can't do it more, man.
To-do lists.
Oh, yeah.
Scandinavian people.
Scandinavian people. Yeah.
All right. Ancient Greek imagery at Greek restaurants.
Yes.
No. I hate that. The phrase,
well, dude, I'm Greek. So
yeah,
like,
I know.
How could
That's why
I hate
asked
that,
you.
man?
I think it's really lame that you guys are still stuck in, what is that, BC something? I mean, imagine if you went to Italian restaurants and instead of like Sinatra, Rocky Marciano, it was straight up ancient Rome.
Well, have you, ever like been to Greece now, it's like in shambles. Like the government sucks. I mean, like it's beautiful, but like
I think it's
dude,
because
like,
you guys have just been hanging on to the Parthenon.
that might be why, but at the same time, like that's the best part of Greece. Like in the history, which says a lot. Like that's the best part of Greece was back then. Like it's really been downhill from there.
Well, that's my point. What else we got here? Above ground swimming pools.
No.
Okay. Lime green cars.
No.
Okay. Irish Catholicism.
Man.
Do it, Ben. We know what you're thinking.
We know you're. I mean, at this point, it's.
Come on, man.
No, it's a yes, man. You can do whatever you want, man.
You guys decide if you meant that or not.
And the last one, the Stairmaster.
Ooh. I'm going to say yes, but if it's just being compared to the treadmill, that's it.
All right. Ben was feeling positive today.
I was going to say.
Of yeses.
A lot of yeses.
Yeah, a lot of yeses, yeah.
So good for you, man. You guys hear that music? You want to double bit this right now?
Double bit? Sure. All right, Ben. You're a country boy.
man.
We're going to do a little ZD's top 5 here. And
Oh, dude, I can't wait, man.
Yes.
I love this.
Summer's coming. It's in the air. July 4th is on its way. And I thought, what's more South Carolina than a little barbecue? So what we're going to do is top 5 barbecue essentials.
Okay.
And by that I mean, what do you? I'm not talking, tables and tablecloths. I'm talking the substance, food, drink. What do you need at the barbecue?
So the way that this bit
I'm
works,
guessing what you
yes,
think.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got it right there.
Okay. Well, that's not really fair because like you don't know true barbecue.
Wow.
You haven't experienced
gets
it.
already?
Yeah. Gets on our show, tells our host he doesn't know about
I would
barbecue.
disagree. I think I do.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, well, I'd say the number one thing you have to have is brisket.
Yeah. No. Brisket? That's a little much for a barbecue. I'm talking a little family affair.
You never had brisket
nice
at a barbecue.
Nah, man. Brisket is like, that's like a Passover thing. In New York, that's like a Jewish thing. That's too much for a barbecue, man.
Dude.
Barbecues are a nice lazy Sunday. You don't want to lug out a 9-pound brisket,
Okay, well, hold on. Are we talking about like barbecue as like a food group, or are we talking about the event of a barbecue?
Oh, we're talking about the event.
Like a family barbecue.
Okay.
Cookout.
I see.
But I love a good
Different
brisket,
thing.
though.
Okay.
I mean, it's good, but that's too much, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, like, I think you gotta have the burgers, right?
Number 3,
You gotta have the burgers. My go-to at the barbecue is typically like an ice cold lemonade, bro.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I mean, I think that would have made the list when I was like 8 or 9. But at this point, it has.
Did you start drinking beer when you were 8 or 9? Is that why?
Yes.
Okay,
You can stop at any
an
time.
ice cold Coors Light,
There you go.
or just a beer.
Number 1. I said either Corona or Budweiser because you got to keep it light at the barbecue.
But Coors
You gotta
Light
keep it
goes.
light, but
yeah, I
Coors
think
Light
it
works
goes hard
too.
too. I like Coors Light.
Coors Light, that's pretty solid. Yeah, number 1. I mean, forget everything else. If you're not drinking beer, it's gonna be pretty lame.
It's true, man. Although I don't know, what are you guys? Are you guys on the hard seltzer train?
Not really.
To be honest,
they're all right.
I used to
but-
be fully against it, but I actually cancel me in the comments. I actually like the Bud Light seltzer.
Yeah, no, they're good.
So
They're good.
people try and tell me Bud Light seltzer is the worst one out of the
No,
thing.
they're the best.
I can't stomach a White Claw, man. It's just too sugary. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
it fucks my day up. Trulies are fine too, but
I
Bud Light
think that
seltzer,
those are
man.
becoming like the summer drink, though.
Yeah,
you know?
not for me though.
But
That's
yeah,
fair.
I do
Like
see. No, but
brews.
Ben, it is true. It is becoming the new summer drink. I think.
Well, for like the UM crowd, it is.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Back on Strong Island, man.
It's big.
It's big.
I mean, I like basically connected with this girl over our love for Truly lemonades.
Look at
That's
that.
like the only thing we have in common. And
How'd it go?
Yeah, man.
We should
But,
we should do a BT relationship Q. I'd love to hear about where
Yeah,
that
dude,
went.
got good advice.
Actually, once we finish this, we can get into it because there's some stuff. I want to ask Zach about some relationship stuff.
Oh, I can't wait
sure.
for this.
I'm
all right.
hijacking this podcast, man. We're putting Zach in the hot seat today.
All right. Well, you got 2, 4, and 5 left.
All right, 2, 4, and 5. Let's see. I'm thinking, I mean, you got hot dogs on there?
Yeah, of course. Number 2.
Hot dogs. Come on, man. Like,
Of
let's
course.
go.
Doesn't get better.
You got to have some sort of potato chip, right?
Yeah. Well, I kind of include. See if you can get something else that goes with that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe like chips and salsa. Is that what you're getting at? Or
I'm gonna give it to you. I said potato chips or potato salad.
Potato
I-
salad.
either
I'm
one
not a
works.
huge fan of potato salad, but I get
love
that. I
potato
get that.
salad, man. I'm a huge.
What about macaroni salad?
Macaroni salad's pretty good, man.
What's your opinion on mayonnaise? Because that's a big part of
love
both
it.
of these dishes. Are you a
Well,
mayo
I mean,
guy?
it
You gotta
depends.
be
I
a
don't
mayo
like
guy.
a lot of mayonnaise. I don't really have it for I don't really like it in like salads or stuff like that. A little bit on my sandwich just to kind of moisten it up.
Gotcha.
That's a really great sound clip. Moisten it up.
Well, we'll continue talking about that in the relationship section.
All right, the final one, which in my opinion is actually the best part of the barbecue, but it's still number 5 because it's not an essential.
It's not an essential, man. I mean, I know this is not it, but it would be for me. But like a really good fruit salad.
You're getting there. You're really getting there, but that's
Really
not
getting
it.
there. God, is it some sort of salad?
No, it is not.
Is it some sort of fruit?
It is.
Oh man, pineapple?
Nope. I mean, you're there. I don't know how this isn't popping out at this point.
Just
Fruit salad.
think summer, man.
Oh, watermelon.
Yeah.
Watermelon.
Yeah. Nothing like a watermelon.
That's right. baby.
Watermelon.
Yeah. Remember that video?
Yeah, man.
That shit was
Classic.
so funny. Yeah. Well, enough of that. What do you want to know about our
Dude, okay.
relationships?
So here's the thing, Zach, is that we I don't know if you remember this, but there was this day after big band rehearsal last semester
I do.
where
I
we
know
were
where
talking
you're
about
going with
this
this.
girl who ghosted you.
Yeah.
And I was talking about the experience like of me getting ghosted.
Uh-huh.
And what I probably didn't tell you at that point is that experience probably inspired half the songs that are going to be on this album.
Wow.
So
I kind of put 2 and 2 together on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is that it?
I want to know how it worked out. Did this girl ever end up reaching out to you
No, I
again?
mean, the thing is, I realized it's like, it took me a while to realize this, but I actually kind of got there. It's like, I don't know if you even want to do anything with someone that would do that. I mean, that's a pretty low thing to do, right?
It's messed up, man. Like,
So it's
I
like-
think that
Yeah.
I think that it's something that like I've done it before, like kind of accidentally, like not really, but like it's just avoiding the confrontation of being like I'm not interested or whatever. But the worst thing is like with this one girl that I was seeing over the summer, like I had like a huge crush on her for years, and I didn't even like think anything of it because like I thought that she was like that attractive. Like there was just no chance in hell that I'd be able to
Yeah.
like be with her. And then like I hear like from my mom, funny enough, because like there's some connection. It's like that girl, from like she liked you. You should like go and talk to her. She's asking
That
like
is
if you're
so
single,
down
and I'm
home
like,
right there.
I know.
That's as southern as it gets.
That breaks my
What's
heart just
that?
hearing this story that it ended up the way that it did. Fuck, man.
well, I mean, like what ended up happening is like, bro, like we started talking and things were going great, and then we ended up going on this date, and like it was great. Like we had a great time. I felt like we really connected. We were supposed to hang out again the next week, and like something happened. Like I think that we were supposed to go hiking, and like it was supposed to be bad weather day, so I was like, let's just cancel it. And so I was like, I basically texted her, I was like, is there any other day like you can hang? And then just nothing.
That's crazy.
And I was like it hurts when there's just no explanation for it and it just hits you out of the blue, So
man, at what point did you realize that it was a ghost? Like what's the time frame after that you didn't get a response that you're like, oh,
I
this
knew
is
it
never gonna
instantly.
happen?
And here's why. Because she put me on her private Snap story after our first date. And I was like, bro, I'm getting in.
Well, yeah, you're in, bro.
Let's go. And then I text her, and then we kind of cancel. And then I'm like, hey, is there any other time? And then she takes me off. And I'm just like,
Ooh.
oof. So it's like, it was
Dude,
a very backhanded way to be like,
I do really wonder like what's going through their heads at this point, because it's like I see this stuff all the time, and it's like I don't know why this happens. Like,
well, hey, you're gonna have to bleep out this name, but if you're listening to this for some reason, you got my phone number. Just text me. Just let me know.
We should get her on
So
the
you-
podcast. Oh, that'd be so amazing. Could this be the BT relationship? Like, could that be like a reoccurring bit? We get BT
I'm like
on.
the relationship expert. Oh my god!
I will say
love that.
BT gave me some great advice when we talked about that. I remember you kind of brought it, you brought it home to me. You actually, I think this is a great idea. I mean, BT knows. He looks at it from like a very hearty point of view. And
Pretty
it's right.
bohemian.
I've just been hurt so much that
Let me ask you this: have you run in so you guys are from the same town, right? Do you think you'll run into her?
No, not really. It's kind of weird, and it worked out for the better because she basically ended up moving after high school to like a town that's like an hour away, basically. So like even if we were able to do long distance, like when I was back home, we still wouldn't really be able to see each other, So like it worked out for the better. In that regard, it would have been very tough to do, but like, I don't know if I'll ever run into her again. I think that if it ever happens, I'll just kind of like give her the little stare down, give her just a little wink, and be like, go on with my day. Be like, we
Wait,
both
hold
know
on. You
what's going
said
on here.
stare down, but then you said a
Like,
wink.
And a
So
wink.
which one is it? Is it
Just
Wait, could
like,
you demonstrate it? Show it.
Just that, just like,
is it angry?
You're really
or-
going to do
or-
this to me?
or is it
His
kind of
eyebrows are kind of up.
promiscuous?
His eyebrows are just kind of
So
like.
it's kind of both.
Well, it's kind of it's an awareness kind of stare where it's like I know that you're there. I know what you've done.
Ben, so you have no hope for a When Harry Met Sally situation.
Well, here's the thing: is that it's like literally what I didn't mention is this sort of thing has kind of reoccurred with the same girl a few times.
Ooh,
Like
that's a new twist.
Like over the past couple of summers, and like I totally like blew it every time. Like I think I was just impatient in the situation at the end of the day. But I mean, I'm sure that by summer she'll be trying to hit me up again or talking to her friends who are going to talk to my mom, and then it's because that's just what has happened. That's what's happened before,
That's
But
Wait a second. So in the past, she'll kind of start it up again.
well, it's like weird because I think that a lot of girls now really don't want to start anything, so they just kind of talk about stuff. And I think that I don't really know her that well, because I just like had such a huge crush on her from really like when I first met her. Like I still don't even really know that much about her, so we basically just kind of have some mutual friends. And the situation, how I found out about her actually liking me, both times actually. So it happened twice. It happened this past summer and then the summer before. And what happened was like this girl is really good friends with one of my sister's best friends. And so like they all talk, and then the moms all talk because my mom's good friends with my sister's friend's mom, and then my sister's friend's mom is good friends with her mom, and like that's how I found out.
It's like
So I mean, like
telephone.
if she's talking about me, like all this time, like I don't get it. It was like a very secretive kind of thing. But like when I heard about it, I was just like, what the heck, man? Like let's just make this happen.
Wow, This actually is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's tough because it sounds like you can't get away, you know?
It's tough, and like I think that I've been able to sort of recover just over the past like couple months. Like I've been in relationships since then, so it's like I've kind of been able to see sides of the situation that maybe I wasn't able to see when I was in it. But I think that it's tough, like when you see someone that like you really like, or you think is like a really good match for your personality, and then for whatever reason you can't even really predict it. You can't see why it doesn't work out. Like it hurts, But the silver lining in all of that is that I was able to kind of take some of that and put it towards writing the music. I think that I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the original plan was to record this album back in April of last year. The plan was before COVID happened, so I wanted to try and get it done before that. But essentially coming home, staying home over the summer, having this thing happen to me over the summer, like it was just fuel for the fire. It just really helped push a lot of songs that I think are some of my better songs on the album out. Like I think I wrote Worth Fighting For, and then the song that I'm about to release, it'll be on the album, but the video is going to come out next week, or on Friday rather, which I think is some of my best work. So I think that in that period I was able to write both those tunes, and just trying to take something, some sort of pain that I was feeling, and just direct it into a positive way.
That's beautiful, man. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. To everyone watching, the Bohemian by Ben Taylor releases on March 12th everywhere, all the streaming platforms. Please check out Ben's Instagram and social media if you want to plug that quick, Ben.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Ben Thomas Taylor, and then I'm also kind of on other platforms, but primarily Instagram is where I'm at. You can check out all my stuff on my website, which is www.benthomastaylor.com. And yeah, be sure to go check out the Bohemian, which is dropping on March 12th. So thank you guys for having me on the podcast, man.
Anytime,
Huge
man.
fan of the show. Huge fan of you guys. So man, thank you guys for letting me be a part of this.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, BT.
We'll have you back on to talk more about all this ghosting stuff, because it's quite interesting. All right,
I'd love
thank you,
to
my
be the
man.
voice of relationship reason, having like no experience myself. So I think that'd be funny and ironic. So
You might as well be a professor at this university. Thank you so much, Ben. Have a good one, man.
Oh, okay. See you guys, man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. How about that song, huh? That BT song.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it
That could
happen.
be my new phrase. Instead of let's do it.
Instead of let's do it. That was a fun interview too, man.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
As you can tell by my preppier outfit, it's been a few days.
Yeah, you got that Connecticut look.
Yeah, I'm really going.
Westport.
So
Lacrosse
it's been a few
on
days.
the weekends.
Oh yeah, bro.
I'm gonna keep going. No, I'm
Give me
kidding.
another one. Give one more. One more. Come on. Baptized at Vineyard Vines.
A little too obvious. I was
Okay.
gonna say, come into the city for your cousin's birthday, and you go to The Gramercy Tavern.
Okay.
Way too clunky, but put me on the spot.
It's a very specific
Yeah.
one. Yeah, so it's been a few days. We put out a trailer. It's making its rounds in interesting ways.
Do you ever wonder, it's like, are we doing things to make people angry, or do people just not like us? Maybe it's both. I don't know.
I think it's a good combination of
Probably
both.
yeah.
I mean, people are getting angry at the trailer before the episode even came out. And to be honest, it's like, I tried to keep it kind of light in the trailer even. I mean, okay, so if you're at this point in the episode, for starters, thank you for not being a fucking asshole, because I know that so many people, this episode especially, they're going to get like 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Something's going to ruffle their feathers. They're going to turn it off, go straight to Frost MSJ internal, you know? And those people just kind of frustrate me. Just because there's so much going on right now, even in our own department. And I don't want to get too specific, but there are faculty members that aren't as supportive of the virus that no one talks about for some reason. But, you know, the little guy always has to get fucked, you know? So
That's you in this situation.
Well, I think it's BT.
Physically and mentally.
All right. I like to think that you and I are pretty safe in this, I think. Or at least I wasn't even at the party, motherfuckers.
That's
also,
true, yeah.
It is important to note that not everybody in the band, we didn't talk about this, not everybody in the band was at the party. So that is important, I guess, to note as well.
Yeah.
We won't go into why. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, like Armenians are being slaughtered right now and you're getting pissed at, you know, the Bohemian release party. Come on, man.
It's all right. In their defense, it is a pretty boring semester. So you got to get angry at something.
Yeah, but there's so much. But there's still tons of things to get angry about. Tons. You know?
No, you're right. There are, but, you know, I don't know. People don't get out anymore. Also, I mean,
you know what the worst part about it is? Getting angry is fun when you can actually, like, talk to the guy, you know, go like baseball manager, get in the guy's face, yell, do some finger pointing.
No one's like that here, though.
People, they just want to text. They just want to send a text, send an email. Well, what's the fun in that?
I was hearing from people that they're excited for this episode. They saw the trailer. They didn't even like it. They were like scared to like it on my page. Yeah. It has like almost over 300 views now with like 60 likes.
Yeah, people are worried.
People are worried, and I'm glad. I'm glad, because at the end of the day, some of these people are in big band with me. What's the difference between being in a room with 20 people blowing out of a metal tube compared to 12 people? You know, that's a whole other story. But I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of frustrating double standards, and it's just, I don't know. People are very selective in how they're responding to all this, and I don't blame them. All this is unprecedented. Love that word.
My only problem is it's all opinion. Like, that's my problem. I mean, at some point it's not. If it's like over like 50 people, okay, then you're not really doing a good thing. But I really believe, like, for almost anything, it's an opinion. Like, no one, like, you know, if people are getting tested once a week and you want to do that, like, that's an opinion.
Twice a week if you live on campus, which is
like, whether you think that's okay or not, like, that's not really like a hard yes or no. It's totally opinion.
Yeah. Well, and all of it is. I mean, you know, you guys know, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I will never forget the beginning of the pandemic. The same time they created the 6 feet rule for social distancing, it was also a time when the CDC told us that masks weren't useful and you got to wear gloves. I was working at a restaurant. We were doing double, triple gloves, no mask, because that's what the CDC said. That's how it started.
Wow.
Then about 2 or 3 weeks after that, they went a full opposite stance, and they're like, no, you got to wear a mask now.
Yeah.
But at that same time, when we didn't know shit about anything, we chose the number 6 feet. I mean, what would they have said if it was 5 feet or 7 feet? Like, it's arbitrary. Everything's arbitrary during this time because we don't fucking know. We don't know anything. There's all these new symptoms coming out, these post-virus symptoms that people get. Like, I mean, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
What really scares me is that now that they know that, like, they can impose these lockdowns, destroy small businesses, the elite, benefit from it so much, right? We know that this has been like the greatest thing ever for the 1%. What scares me is what, like, in the future, I think over the next every 10 years, they're just going to roll out a new one.
That's interesting.
Well, think about it. Like, if they could do this much for something as relatively undeadly as this, right? What is it? You have like a 1 in 1,000 chance if you're healthy of dying.
That
It's
I'm
like,
not sure.
so it's like, if they can do something like this, something's going to come soon again in the next 20 years. Like with globalization, like something's going to come again. If not that, they can say, oh, we need to do a lockdown for like climate change. They can say there's a million things they could do. And it's like, now that they know they can do it and half the country is going to be not only say yes, but for some reason, like ardently support it. And actually to the point of ratting on their friends and getting angry at their own family. It's going to keep happening because,
You're right.
who controls the
I do think
politicians,
you're
the
right.
1%, and they know it's going to help them out. It's going to keep happening. It's just gonna. And
I mean, look at Amazon, man. Holy fuck.
yeah, Amazon, but it's not just them. It's like, it's really all of the corporations.
Of course, but I don't know. Like, it's just some of them. It's just so like it's crazy to me.
Yeah. And also it could just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, the next one might be more intense, and then it might be, like a violent thing.
And we'll see. I mean, the sad thing is, it's the same people a lot of the same people who are like really serious about it, which I understand. I do understand because I also know people who have passed away. Both of us do from the virus, and it's a hard thing because it's all this is very complicated, and we're just normal fucking people. Like, I don't know. Like, what am I supposed to think?
Sure.
None of us were ever expected to be put in this situation. I don't think any decisions made during this time make you a good or a bad person, especially, on the other side too. These people that are annoying and like kind of up our ass sometimes about certain things. I don't blame them personally either. I mean, a lot of them, in my opinion, it was kind of expected they would go that direction for other reasons, but I don't know. Like, it doesn't make me think of them any differently personally, because at the end of the day, this is a time that none of us ever in our lives expected to have to deal with. And there's no like correct protocol. We grow up on certain values and morals and stuff, and things are instilled in us. And this is one of those things, like one of the rare cases where it's something that's not directly instilled in us, like a possibility that we'll have to deal with in the future. I mean, if this continues, if, super coronavirus 2 electric boogaloo comes out or whatever, and it's even worse, when we raise our kids, eventually this might be something that we'll have to teach them at a young age, that it's like, this is what to do during like a pandemic. And like, these are the ways you should act. The same way it's like, if someone, don't tattle on someone in class, like those sort of things are instilled in you, and like random sandbox rules and all that sort of thing. I mean, this might be something that will be taught to our kids if it continues. So it's hard to like, it's hard to expect anything from anybody and to really blame. I mean, unless you're the governor of Texas and you're a fucking asshole in other ways, unless you're doing other things that are like blatantly, like, I don't know if having a 12-person party where everyone has been tested that week.
Well, that's my point. To me, like at that point, that as far in as we were, to me, I don't really understand what's wrong about that. I really don't.
At first glance, you it's really easy for you to be like, oh, well, what the fuck? That, that person's putting everyone in harm's way and all that. But it's not malicious, and no one got sick, thankfully, knock on wood. It ended up all being good. Like, holding a grudge for it, I think it's silly, in my opinion, because they didn't mean for it to. They didn't mean for it to be this big thing, and now it is, and the box won't close. It's opening Pandora's box here. It's affected friendships in an industry where it's already just so fucking annoying. Like, the culture around jazz is already so, like, it's predatory for no reason. Like, people are at each other's throats for different reasons all the time about what subgenres they perform and the style and what's real jazz and what's not, when no one's even listening to the fucking music anyway. So it's like, why are we fighting? We should all be embracing that we're even willing to go down this road and play a music that isn't appreciated by general society. And instead, we're spending all this time here getting mad at Ben Taylor for having a little get together. I don't know.
Well, that always happens. Like, any I mean, it sounds stupid to say, but any like oppressed group or any like kind of, on the fringe group, what like the bigger world will do is they'll make them fight with each other rather than like realize that they need to, come
they need
together,
to work together,
and like, I mean, you're really right about all that. Like, the problem is too, if this keeps happening, like, if they do like another one of these in the next 20 years, like, it's gonna just become like a real non-human world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Because like there's gonna be it's just gonna be bad. Like I don't know. I guess it's like dumb to make predictions because obviously we have no idea. But
I mean, I think I'm kind of in this weird category too, where I think it's awesome all the stuff we're doing in space, but I think it's also going to ruin everything. Like if we go and we could all live on Mars, like what a non-human existence that would be. That's just like our entire world being like, no, it's okay to leave what we fucked up on Earth. Let's just fuck up something else and let's go there. And it's like just escaping the I mean, what is Earth going to become then? Right? It's like, I think.
Do you actually think we're going to be able to like live on Mars?
I mean, the recent, all the recent developments in the space travel and the ideas they have for the moon too that are very interesting. I mean, it'd be silly, like you said, to predict anything these days. Things are moving in weird directions and they're moving quick, but you can't really predict it.
Elton John was right all along.
Elton John was always right, baby.
Doesn't he have a song about going to Mars?
Well, he is Rocket Man, which is about drugs.
I'm thinking that.
But
is it really?
Yeah, it's about a personal
that.
struggle with drugs.
I never knew that.
It's about like not being on Earth with his family when he's under the influence.
I'll tell you what, if we do go to Mars, I guarantee they're going to put a yard house on Mars, which transitions into my next subject. I wanted to talk about this. I recently realized, is there anything worse than these like expensive chains? I know we went to Yard House for your birthday, so this might be a touchy subject. But I've just been thinking recently, and I think that is like the worst thing in America, and it's so big. Is like places like Carrabba's, Yard House,
Cheesecake Factory is pretty expensive.
Cheesecake Factory, at least that's kind of funny though. Capitol Grill.
P.F. Chang's gets kind of expensive.
For sure would be on them. I'd put like Top Golf in that category too.
Well, it's just these are just kind of Americana.
Yeah, but they're not Americana because Americana has to be like older. These are like very modern, right? And it's like, dude, all of them just feel like sticky and like gross. Do you know what I mean? They all have this like kind of air of like, ugh. And then it's like the food's fine, but it's like you're spending sometimes more than you would at just like a good local place. Why do we still go to these places?
I think it has a lot to do with, well, the culture we live in right now in regards to like social media and all that. People don't want to waste time finding out if a local place is good and trying out new places. They recognize the name like Yard House. They've been there back at home. They've been there in another state. Yeah. And it's one of those weird things where once you get hooked on one of these chains, like once you try Yard House for the first time, it just becomes just like a place. You're in another state, you're on vacation. Oh, they have a Yard House here.
That sucks.
But that's just what it be. I really do think that's what it is.
Five Napkin Burger, another place.
I know, Five Napkin. Yeah. But did that exist outside of the city?
I think it's like a New York chain, but it's a little different. But again, it's like so expensive and it's so not that good.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's expensive. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I think that chains are necessary.
Yeah, no, but like they're not necessary. Like I get like McDonald's. That's great. I'm a big McDonald's fan. But I don't understand these chains I just don't get why people go to them. Like, wouldn't you want it at least if you're going to spend that much money, like go somewhere like cool, not a place you can go in like, Boise, and you can also go in Jacksonville and it's going to be the same exact thing. That sucks.
It's similar to
like that's what McDonald's should be for that. But then you're spending $7, not like $49.
Well, I think that is kind of the reason though why it exists, because of that. It's sort of like
so depressing to me. It's really depressing.
They had these huge education reforms. You remember Common Core? We grew up with it.
Yeah, sure.
New York got fucked with that because we always had very good public schooling. Even upstate, there's great public schooling. The funding is great for it. But it was designed for places like even down here, fuck Florida, man. The way that they spend money on education, it was designed for other places so that everything was the same. It was like equal, Well, that's the same thing with these chains. I mean, it's great when you're in fucking Shreveport, Louisiana, but because, it's probably the best restaurant in town.
But I bet it's not. I bet there's like some small barbecue place in Shreveport.
When I was there, I told this story already in the podcast that the lady said the best restaurant in Shreveport was Denny's because she didn't realize that Denny's was a chain because she lived in Shreveport her whole life.
That's like the saddest story I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
but I talked about that back in season 1, I think.
It's the thing is what I'm talking about though. It's such a fine line. Like Chili's is fine because Chili's is kind of cheap, and that's like a place you go. You know what I mean?
What about like Miller's Ale House? Have you ever been to a Miller's Ale House?
Been there.
It started here in Florida.
Sounds like it would be.
It's similar. It's like a chain.
It's a very fine line, but like Chili's, Denny's, like that's not it because those are like pretty much. They're just sit down McDonald's, really. They're little. I mean, they're better. You know what I mean? Like they're still cheap, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. You just go in there. People aren't like, oh, Friday night, let's go to Denny's. I mean, maybe some people are, but it's like, also like no one would go to a Denny's in like Miami or New York, but for some reason, people are like, yeah, let's go to the Yard House or let's go to like Carrabba's.
My opinion, though,
I don't get it.
Is the worst culprit of this because they figured out. This is what they did. They figured out the formula.
Yeah.
Where people are like, let's go to blank. And I'm going to say what it is in a second, but I want to set it up well. They figured out this formula where people are like, yeah, let's go here because the game's playing. Yeah. But it's still expensive for no reason. That place is Buffalo Wild Wings. Ugh. Fuck Buffalo Wild Wings. Why do people still go to Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah, actually,
I can't
believe I
like
forgot about that place.
$38 on wings and a few beers. You go, it's fucking expensive. Dude, and it's not a lot of food. And the place is sticky and gross. It's like a Denny's that costs more money, inside.
Well, that's what they, like all of these places, they try to replicate like a place that there'd be one of in a
yeah,
city.
Like a local, exactly.
And that they're like the sports bar one.
Yeah, they're the sports bar one.
But it sucks, yeah.
Yard House is kind of like that too. Yard House is weird because it combines a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Well, they all do that too, though. They all, except for some of them, most of them have like, that's how you know like the food's not going to be good because like they have like, it's like all of them have like burgers, tacos, pasta. Like they have everything.
Sure.
And it's never that good.
But I mean in regards to their shtick, because you go in, you're like, oh, is this like a sports bar? But then because they have a shit ton of types of beer on tap, which is cool. I actually do like that about Yard House. That was my favorite thing about going on my birthday because I was like, I'm a beer guy, you know that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's a lot of different choices and it's kind of intuitive the way they have like the little thing on the they have those little tablet. I mean, any place that has like a tablet.
That's the thing. I hate that, bro. That's horrible. And you have to like scan. I don't know, man. It's not.
But anyway, I don't know. I think it is a serious problem, and I think it's something that we should address instead of other things right now. I think that should be what we should be talking about.
I just want if you have like a night you want to have some fun, don't go to one of these places. Like, just don't do it. It's like. I don't know how people I don't know, man. I just don't get it. Like, why would you want to support a place where it's like the money's going straight to like some CEO in Tampa Bay?
The joke is I'm surprised this didn't happen because honestly, in retrospect, this would probably be the most genius thing the restaurant chains could have done. They could have put out some sort of thing that makes it seem like local restaurants aren't following social distance as well as they are because they're a chain.
They could have done that.
I'm surprised they didn't do that.
That'd be really evil.
Because, I mean, look at what they did with, ordering anything online. They turned to this thing where it's like, oh, just pay other people to do the groceries for you. It's too much of a risk. You can't do that. Use Instacart.
Yeah.
Old sponsor.
Yeah.
But yeah, use one of these, which is like a total scam.
Sure.
Because all this shit is like Uber Eats and all that. It's a genius idea because you could pay your drivers barely anything. They aren't allowed to unionize and they're trying to do it. We'll see if it happens. I hope it does, man. I mean, that would change the industry. I mean, what's going to happen is they're going to put all this work in and eventually these companies are so rich, they'll just buy a ton of self-driving cars eventually and they'll just figure it out like that. Well, you know about that whole thing. I mean, that's what Andrew Yang ran on, that idea of like how the trucking job that's going to fuck the economy, man. Huge percentage of the country, like all the middle states, they love the truck job thing, and it pays well, and it's a realistic job. There's a low barrier to entry. Most of the time, you don't have to really need college education or anything like that. You drive a truck and you ship things because it's necessary. You need that.
Yeah.
But they're trying to make these automated like Tesla full ass trucks. Eventually, those jobs are going to be gone. My God. But by then, we'll be living in Mars, so there'll be different issues, I guess.
Oh, Jesus, that's frightening. Why don't they just, they should just say, like, no more technology. We're done.
Well, that's the thing. That's very, how do you, Ayn Rand? Ayn Rand?
Yeah, Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand.
I love Ayn Rand.
It's like, which book
I wasn't
was that?
expecting an Ayn Rand from you.
Which one was that? Anthem, is that the name of it? One of the short stories was about this idea of like, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering this right. We read it back in high school, but it was this cool idea. Back in high school. It was this whole book about how society, they were trying to make innovations.
Atlas Shrugged.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Where they still had candles because they didn't want the candle makers to like lose their job.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't have electricity. But the girl found this place. It was like this basement where someone like must have passed away and left all this technology. And she was like, "Holy shit, look at all this!"
Yeah.
And she brought it to the leaders, and they kicked her out.
Wow.
Because they said that like, do you understand like what it would do to society if all these people's jobs were lost? When in reality, it's just something as simple as turning on the light switch. You know. So it's crazy.
But you can't take it too far, can't you?
No, you can't. I mean, you can take it too far.
Yeah.
Because this is when you start. I mean, you know, then they say, oh well, the new jobs will be like maintenance on those sort of automated cars. But you know, the same people who are losing their trucking job aren't going to be able to do that. It's a low barrier to entry job.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. The My Gut podcast will. We'll be following the future.
On that dark note, let's end on something.
Yeah, some of this was kind of heavy, guys. Sorry about that.
Let's
I think
end
we
on
kept the
something
interview kind of
comical.
light, though.
All right, this is a real article I found in Men's Health magazine. You ever read Men's Health?
No.
Men's Health is like a great magazine if you're trying to like, you know, find like where to get a good prime rib at like, you know, the Cleveland airport. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Like how to make a really good martini with only, you know, sewer water. But here's the headline. Sex-splain it. I just realized I've been an awful kisser my whole life and I'm spiraling. Zachary Zane teaches a man to kiss in this week's column. You like the beginning?
I mean, it intrigues you. Have I been kissing wrong this whole time?
Let's find out. It says, so this is like the preview. I'm Zachary Zane. I really wish that wasn't his name. A sex writer and ethical man whore. A fancy way of saying I sleep with a lot of people and I'm very, very open about it. Over the years, I've had my fair share of sexual experiences, blah, 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 blah. I'm here to answer your most pressing sex questions. All right, sounds good. All right, now here's the letter the guy writes to him. All right. Dear Sex-splain it. My kissing skills were recently critiqued by this girl I was seeing. She didn't say directly I was a bad kisser, but it was heavily implied. She then attempted to teach me how to kiss better. I went back and spoke to some of the girls I've hooked up with and are still friends with and asked if I was a bad kisser, and the answer from every single girl was some variation of yes.
Wow.
I feel so stupid. I'm 32 and apparently I've been this god-awful kisser my whole life. I wonder how many girls have stopped dating me because I'm shitty. It's really taking a hit to my confidence. So my question is, how do I become a better kisser? And how do I stop feeling so dumb? And he signs it, bad kisser. This guy's really beating himself up.
Sad, man.
Before we get the expert, what do you think he should do?
Man, I mean, I don't even... Yeah, on paper, it's like you'd think that more experience would help him out, but it seems like he's had several relationships and stuff, and it hasn't helped him out. Dude, I can't even tell you.
Well, he's got the answers. This is an incredibly long article, by the way.
Let's do it.
I'll get to the meat of it. He says he kind of throws some softball advice, and then he says let's move into some common kissing mistakes to avoid. Number 1, lip biting. They bite way too hard to the point where it's just painful. Don't be that guy. You can lip bite once or twice during a makeout. That's what he says. Number 2 is lip sucking. Seems to be the same thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Number 3 is tongue ramming. But number 4 is no tongue. Number 5 is teeth licking. Number 6 is saliva depositing. Number 7 is bad breath. And number 8 is open eyes. So you have to have closed eyes, good breath, and then the only thing seemingly you can do is kissing with a tongue, but not too much tongue.
Well, it just seems like very non-specific. I mean, okay, so a few of those things are pretty obvious. Like they're like I'd really like to hope that nobody out there is just kissing with the eyes wide open the whole time, that sort of thing.
It is a funny thought, though, isn't it?
That like the guy's like, oh, you're not supposed to like do the stare down like the entire time. Kind of interesting. Then you have, I mean, another part of it that's kind of interesting was the bad breath thing. Because now we're getting into hygiene. There might need to be another article all about that, right? Because I don't know, that's another one that to me seems kind of obvious, right?
You would think, yeah.
Yeah.
You would think.
So I don't know.
I mean, to me, though, like, it's pretty incredible that this guy has this job. This is what he does, man.
To me, it's very obviously just, I mean, come on, dude. Like the whole intro thing about just, jerking himself off about how many women he's been with.
Yeah. You don't like that?
I'd actually venture to say this guy's name's not even Zachary Zane. I mean, ugh.
You think he's making that up too?
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, who would be so willing? What if this was like his mother read this or something like that, or like someone he knew like growing up? Like, wouldn't you think that'd be weird?
It's too late. He has many of these articles out. I mean, my favorite part of it though is if you're really writing in to Zachary Zane from Men's Health magazine, it's too late.
Well, it's dark
It's
as
too
fuck,
late.
bro.
It's
That's
over.
like sad.
Like
yeah,
you're done. I don't know what you've been doing, but
I've been on
it's
misconnections
nothing,
on Craigslist the whole time.
It's
bro.
nothing that these 8 things to avoid can fix.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess that's actually an interesting though, like novel idea.
I didn't even read this part. He was talking about. He goes. There was one woman I was making out with, and she would bite my lip as if she were trying to rip it off. I'd wince every time she did it until eventually I audibly said, ow. She then gave me this naughty smile and a baby voice said, oopsies, paragraph, I did not see her again.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, these are good. You could
And
spend a lot of time.
That's Zachary that
this.
said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know, man. Does that count? Like if you have sex with all these women, but half of them are like baby voice, fucking horrible people, does it count anymore?
I think it still counts. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Man, let's just read some of these headlines too. My girlfriend cheated and gave me COVID. Can I trust her? I'm not making this up. My husband's penis is ruining our marriage. This one's confusing. I said daddy in bed, and now she won't text me.
Oh,
I don't know where that one goes.
Juicy on that one.
I'm refusing to have sex until I lose weight. And my partner refuses to have sex when it's lights out. I mean, we got to read another one of these on the next podcast, right?
Yeah, we should have our own relationship.
I mean,
could we have people write into us?
Whoa, my
That'd be so
parents
funny.
are about to find my fiance's vibrator. My parents are about to. He wrote this whole thing, sent it out.
He's like, my mom's coming home from work right now. That's fucking horrible.
Wow. Yeah, these are good, man. These are really good.
Juicy.
This was like huge. This was like, remember that show Sex and the City? That was
Yeah,
like
of course.
Huge. Wasn't it just all this shit in show format?
I don't even really. I thought it was just kind of just
That was like
a
the biggest
rom-com
show,
sort of thing,
right?
wasn't it?
Wasn't that like huge?
It was big, yeah. And there was,
but then for some
movies.
reason it never like, unlike Friends and Seinfeld, people don't watch it anymore.
Oh, it's dated. Like it's one of those shows that it's like the acting's probably kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, but also like fucking.
Was your mom into that show?
No.
I think my mom like loved it when I was like 2 years old.
Interesting. I think we have one of the movies though on VHS because I remember.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of those, one of those words that like for some reason is a bad word when you're little or something like that, like sex. So it was always kind of like, ooh, when I'm looking through the VHS tapes all the way in the back, there's one that has sex in it. It's kind of interesting.
It is. It's sex and the city.
Yeah, it's not sex in the city. It's sex and the city.
Not a great title.
I'd actually be curious because it does take place in Manhattan, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious if it's an accurate representation of any element of Manhattan at all. Or any type of person in Manhattan.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it now. I always got the vibe it was like kind of like promiscuous modern friends. But I don't know.
You want to do that next episode? You want to watch
First
Sex and the
episode?
City? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's so funny.
All right, we're on.
Yeah, because it is interesting. You know, we've talked a lot about movies and TV shows about Manhattan, and that one was pretty big. And
wow, I like this. Now I'm excited.
So let's do it.
I'll take Manhattan. You know that song?
No.
You don't know that song?
I don't think
Manhattan? Oh, beautiful song.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this. I guess our most controversial episode yet for whatever reason. I mean, look, if you got to this point, you know it. I mean, it was a fun interview and I had a good time. It wasn't this like life-changing thing. We were just kind of shooting the shit with Ben.
Yeah.
Over half the interview was just us doing yes or no and ZD's top 5 anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure to check out Ben Taylor's album releasing on March 12th entitled The Bohemian. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Fa fa fooey.
Fa fa fooey.